Hi, I'm Zahra. Welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met before, I'm a medical doctor, an entrepreneur, and a YouTuber. And this is video 7 of the 7-video challenge given by Ali Abdal. And this completes the journey. If I think about where I started to where I am now, I actually just want to laugh. I started this challenge about 3 or 4 months ago, and I had very, very randomly come across Ali Abdal's channel, and I'd very randomly come across his 7-video challenge. And if I think about who I was when I signed up for it, nervous, very shy, very worried about judgment of other people, very, very nervous to learn a new skill. But I said, what the heck? I swiped my credit card and I signed up for the challenge. I am not in any way regretful that I did do it because I've learned so much along the way. And so this video basically is what I've learned and my journey so far and what the 7-video challenge has taught me. So at the start of the challenge, I was just really, really nervous. I didn't know anything about editing. I was really camera shy. Social media is not something that I engage with much at all. And so the idea of putting myself there in front of a camera, talking about a topic or something was incredibly daunting. But I figured it's a challenge and it's something that's going to challenge me to overcome a fear. And what's the possible worst thing that could happen is that I do it, I don't like it, I never have to do it again. But really it was just about also being able to overcome perfection. So everything that I learned from this were completely brand new skills. How to talk to a camera, how to do video editing, how to do camera angles, how to make a decent background. One of the biggest fears that I had was that my background wasn't good enough, or that I didn't know what a good enough background was, or did I have the environment that I could actually set one up. And that actually was a really big hindrance to me starting, because I thought everything had to be perfect in order for me to film my first video, and my speech had to be perfect and my content had to be perfect. But the reality is that wasn't true, and really what it mattered, especially in that first video, which is why I'm so appreciative of what his first challenge actually is, was just getting the first video out there and publishing it to your YouTube channel. And ever since there, it's been a complete roller coaster of learning and building new skills along the way. And so now I'm actually really comfortable and confident speaking in front of a camera, and I am not as worried about perfection. And really what it matters is that you have more consistency so that you can build competency so you can get to a point of perfection. And actually I'm just really excited about YouTube as a platform for teaching and learning. And I'm very excited to be able to be in this space and talk about the things that I care about, and hopefully talk about the things that other people will find interesting and find value in. Some of the biggest challenges that I've probably come across in this challenge were technical challenges. Film and video editing is an amazing skill, and for people who have it, I congratulate them, I applaud them, because oh my goodness, being able to film a video and edit the video is a completely new skill to learn, and it took me far many more hours than it would take someone who's actually an expert in the field. And so really learning that was a massive technical challenge. One of the other biggest challenges that I had was actually just finding the time for it. So I work as a doctor, and that means full working days. And what it also meant is that I had after-hour calls that I was doing. So I was doing 24 to 26-hour calls, and I was doing that maybe once or twice a week. And so really just finding the time and the energy to be in front of a camera and give the energy that the audience deserves, I found it really hard to actually just get to that point and muster up that sort of energy. And so I was really just trying to pick and choose and find times where I had that energy to give. And I felt that those were very limited times in my day. But I managed to develop a structure for that and sort of schedule that so that I would know, okay, these are really good times when I should be filming. And so I picked weekends where I hopefully wasn't working as much to actually do all of this. So really just creating a system made it a lot easier to overcome those challenges. And then one of the other biggest things is overcoming, is it good enough? And so the reality is that whenever you start something new, you're going to suck at it. And actually just being okay with the fact that you suck at it is something to overcome, and it was quite a valuable lesson that I had to learn. So none of these videos are perfect, and really it is just about growing and learning along the way. But it was also just saying that, well, this is good enough for where I am now, and the alternative is not publishing anything at all, which means that I'm not progressing or advancing in any way. And so really just overcoming that and beating the perfection and just getting it out there was far more important to me than being able to develop the perfect video. And I hope one day that I will develop the perfect video, because with growth and skill and learning, I imagine that I will get there. My favorite video. So my favorite video was probably the one where I spoke about decluttering, mostly because it actually is a skill or a tool or a practice that I do in my everyday life. And I thought I would just share it because when I was doing the video, I came across some interesting facts And so I actually really just enjoyed being able to share that with my audience. And the other video that I actually really enjoyed, and was a really good video to do as a beginner, was the review video of the On Cloud shoes, mostly because it gave me the opportunity to talk about an object so that I was more focused on the object and less focused on being able to be perfect in everything. So really just having something else to talk about to draw my attention away from and actually focus on something and take my mind away from something else was very, very helpful. So the shoe review video, if anybody's ever starting a YouTube channel, I would say that that's probably one of the easiest videos to do, because it means that you can just talk naturally about the product or the object that you're reviewing. Skills that I've learned, where I've improved. So definitely my ability to speak to a camera, that has changed dramatically, because I suppose one of the tips or pieces of advice that I kept hearing is that you should talk to the camera like you're talking to a friend, or you're talking to your therapist, or you're talking to someone where it's actually just a conversation. A skill that I've definitely improved on was being able to structure content and being able to develop storytelling skills. That was definitely something that I struggled with, and it's an area where I'm constantly growing and learning, and I am actually enjoying the journey, but it is definitely a challenge to overcome. But being able to have an introduction, have a hook, being able to move through the body of the story and ultimately reach an arc, or sort of get through the arc of the story, get through the conclusion, is such a powerful skill. And I really admire people who have amazing storytelling abilities. And so I hope that I keep growing in that space. Definitely a huge one for me was editing. Wow, I cannot tell you how much editing actually goes into a video. And so when we see all these beautifully polished videos on YouTube, whoever the editing expert is at the background, well done and kudos to you, because I really have a newfound appreciation for editors. They really do amazing work. And sometimes it can be really tedious work, but despite that, they provide a lot of creativity to the content. And so I really do appreciate and admire that. And it's definitely a skill that I didn't even know that I should have an appreciation for, but it was very interesting to kind of go to raw content to sort of have edited content and what that journey was. It's probably one of the hardest skills that I would have had to learn through this whole thing. And so what I will say is that I've ultimately outsourced my editing, because I realized that I'd rather spend more time on learning other skills that I am maybe slightly more naturally good at, and I'll leave the editing to the experts. And I suppose one last skill was learning how to be consistent. And so learning how to be consistent and developing routine was actually a really important part of this. So one of the best ways to get better at something is to do it all the time. But finding the time to do it, as I mentioned, was really hard. So actually just learning how to be more consistent in this creative process was definitely a skill that I had to learn and have tried to stick to. And so I'm very grateful for this, because it's also taught me a lot of dedication, and it's also taught me a lot of diligence, which is something that you can sometimes struggle with, especially when you're tired or you're overwhelmed or you have a lot of other things to do in your day. With my plans going forward, so really this platform was just about learning and growing and being able to deliver value and education to an audience. And so I will be posting a video once a week. And really, I'll be talking about everything from women's health to mental health to financial wealth to my life as a doctor and everything in between. And I'm really excited to jump in and get started. There are so many ideas that I have for different types of videos, and I'm definitely very excited to experiment on what type of topics and what type of videos that I'm going to enjoy doing the most, and what type of videos people out there resonate with and find the most valuable. And if you've ever thought about starting a YouTube channel, my advice would be to just start. There is nothing better than breaking that barrier or breaking that boundary and just getting past the obstacle. Because after that, you can do whatever you want. I truly believe that every skill can be learned. I truly believe that you can do anything that you set your mind to. So go ahead and get started. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to hit record. You just need to upload it and see where it goes. So what I really want to say is thank you for being part of this first step in the journey. And I'm really excited to see where this goes. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more, my latest video is somewhere up here, and you can always subscribe to my channel.